Okay, hi guys, Nate here from Nate's Gadgets, and today I wanted to do a little video on how to test the power coming from a power over Ethernet cable without having to use a specific tool, a PoE tester. So all we need to do this is a multimeter, and I have a power source here. So I'm going to I've got my multimeter hooked in, the black is in the COM port, the red is in the volt port, and I'm going to turn it on to 200 volts DC. We're testing DC power today, although the principle should be the same for an AC switch because the power in the line will always be DC. And I'm going to turn on my wiring harness here, which is simply to power this power over Ethernet injector, which in your case could be any kind of power supply for the device you're trying to test. So just plug your power, whatever is supplying the power, into the wall or into the power source, and then plug your Ethernet cable into that device. So now I've got power in the line, I've got my meter ready to go. I'm going to take the black probe, which is in the COM port, and I'm going to try to pin that into pin number 1. And I want you guys to be careful while you're doing this. What you don't want to do, this is a relatively safe procedure, but what you don't want to do is touch your probes together while they're connected to pins, because that could create a short circuit, which probably wouldn't be a big deal, but if you were to hold it long enough, that could cause a problem. So just make sure you keep one pin at like the back end of the connector and the other pin at the front end of the connector. And I'm just trying to get my probe set on pin number 1 here, and then I'm going to take my red probe and connect it to pin number 2, read 0, pin number 3, read 0, pin number 4, reads negative 47.7, 5 the same, 6 is a 0, 7 is a negative 47.7, and 8 is the same. So I'm going to write that down with my black probe. In slot number 1, I got a 0, or this is actually my probe, 0, 0, negative, negative, 0, negative, negative. Okay, and now kind of to confirm those results, or to test the charge on the pin that my probe was in, I'm going to set my ground on a different pin. So we're going to go with pin number 4 for my black probe this time. And I said that wrong. We're going to go pin number 8 because it's the furthest out of the way. So now I'm going to get my black probe on pin number 8, and I don't know if you can see the multimeter there, but we've got 47.9 on number 1, the same on number 2. There's number 3. Number 4 reads 0. Number 5 reads 0. Number 6 plus 47.9. And number 7, let's see if I can get number 7 here, is a 0. So if I were to draw out that testing scenario, my ground would be in pin number 8, and then I got positive voltage on 1, 2, and 3. I got zeros on 4 and 5, positive voltage on 6, and a 0 on 7. Now this tells me, relative to the other pins, which pins have positive and negative power, but it doesn't necessarily tell me which ones are positive and which ones are negative, because I'm testing the wire itself. So if I wanted to know the answer to that, let me just swap out my black probe for a black clip here, and I'm going to clip this to the negative battery cable, which will give me a ground outside of the cable. And when I do that, I'm going to turn it back on to 200 volts DC, and I'm just going to measure pin number 1, and I get a positive 47.9 volts if I were to measure positive 47.9. So that's telling me that this result here from pin number 1 is definitely a positive. So if I were to combine all of these results together, I would know that pins 1 through 3 are positive, 4 and 5 are negative, 6 is positive, and 7 and 8 are negative. And this is the specific 4-pair pinout for this particular device. Hope this helps you guys out in testing your PoE wires for which pins are set to which configuration. Thanks.